spoke about Tommy Robinson. Then I spoke about the rally, and I said these people are not racist. And you won't believe it, Nick. That was it. After that, I lost my job with the Swansea Council. I got arrested, put in the prison, and then they had a big charge against me for being racist to the Muslim community. And I thought they won't call me a racist, because guess what? You can't call me a racist because I am from that community. I don't want to. I don't have a plan B, but I am somewhat thinking to maybe it's time for me to move out of the UK, maybe go somewhere.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Nick Talks. This episode's amazing guest, first time on the channel, gentleman who reached out to me. He's got a fantastic story that we're going to get into now. But first of all, welcome Shoaib to the show.
Hello. Hi, Nick. Thank you very much for answering my emails. I know you must be really, really busy, hectic. I see a lot of your amazing content that you do. So yeah, I think with that, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come on your channel. I know I've reached out to many, many people, and I'm very lucky to be here. So thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. What I liked about you and your story is you are a Pakistani immigrant who came to this country. You don't seem to have brought your old ancestral traditions, norms to the country. Tell me if I'm wrong. You seem to have come here and gone, right, I'm starting afresh. I want a different life, a different future for me. You've embraced the country. You've been basically, from what I can see, the ideal immigrant. Come here, embraced English, British culture. And to such an extent that you've been on the marches with the Patriots, you support Tommy Robinson. But that's, well, first of all, let's talk about that, and then we'll get into what trouble that has caused you in the employment world. So how did you get here, and what was it about England that attracted you in the British culture and those sort of things?
So, well, I'll start off by telling you I am a Pakistani, but I was raised in Saudi Arabia. So growing up in Saudi Arabia, your culture, the Pakistani culture, being in Saudi Arabia, you have to let it go, because if you won't let it go in Saudi Arabia, they will kick you out. So in Saudi Arabia, basically, we have learned. So my father is still in. So my mom and dad, they both are still in Saudi Arabia. So as I said, as growing up in Saudi Arabia, I was there since I was 1 week old, because my parents were already in Saudi Arabia. But I was born in Pakistan, in Karachi, the same city that Ben Habib was born in. But yeah, I was born a lot after him. But anyway, so yeah, being in Saudi Arabia, we've learned one thing, that when you go to Saudi Arabia, you abide by their cultures, their laws. If you can't do that and you tell them, oh, I want to wave the Pakistani flag, or I want to do the Pakistani things, they will tell you to go. They'll say, if you want to do Pakistani things, there is a Pakistan. We don't want Saudi Arabia to be a Pakistan. Why don't you go back to your country? And I learned that as growing up. So that is my mentality. And another thing they teach us is, just because you're born in Saudi Arabia doesn't mean you're an Arab, doesn't mean you're a Saudi. If you were born in Saudi Arabia, you will still be a Pakistani. So, you know that, and I think, like I said, it's a very different concept to some of the people who were born in the UK who are not white. Like for me, like I said, because I'm brown. So when I was in Saudi Arabia, we used to talk about England, we used to talk about the UK, and the reason we used to talk about the UK, because my grandfather's brother came to the UK a long time ago. He's passed away now, but he married a white British lady, which is my grandmother. I call her my grandmother, and she's still alive. My grandfather's brother have passed away a couple of days ago, but they've been married throughout. They had kids, they had grandkids. So I've got a lot of cousins who are mixed race. Some of them look a lot white, because my side of the family in Pakistan, the city that I come from, where my grandparents are from, they were from the mountains, and they have like really, you know, their skin tone is very, very, you know, they're very light basically. So anyways, the reason why I used to come to the UK to come see my, my grandparents' brother, and to enjoy what the UK has to offer, and growing up, coming to the UK every 2-3 years for like a week, 2 weeks as a tourist in London. We'll come to London, and I would see just amazing things. And when I say amazing things, so as a Pakistani, have the Pakistani culture, living in Saudi Arabia, seen the Arab culture, now coming to the UK regularly since very young age, I see the British culture as well. And I can differentiate between the Arab, the British, and the Pakistani culture, because there's a huge difference. And back then, I'm talking about 1990s when I was young. So it was a huge difference. So growing up, coming to the UK on and off, in Saudi Arabia, you can only complete your education as English, as GCSEs or A levels. After that, they did not had, back in 2007, 2008, they did not have universities for international students like us. We were foreigners and we wanted to learn in English. They had Arabic universities, and we did not want to go into that. And that was the time in 2008, my dad asked me, where is it that you would like to go? And that's when I decided, out of the countries, America, Australia, many countries in Europe, I said, you know what, I am going to go to UK. And the reason why I chose that, it was the British culture. I've seen the British culture. And believe it or not, at that time, I used to look at the British police, and I was so in love with the British police. I used to look at them, I'd be like, look at them. You know, they've got so much dignity, so much honor. They used to be so good. When you look at the police officers, you are back in the day, you were watching a police officer. You know, like they had that thing when you look at it, be like, oh my God, I want to be that. And that's what I had. And I thought, starting my university in Brunel University in London, I went to Uxbridge from 2008 up until 2013. I had a one gap year as well. Doing my university there, I wanted to get into the police, but I started off by TA, Territorial Army, if you've heard of it, because, you know, people go in there. Yeah. So while I was in Brunel University, I tried going in there, but because of my working hours, so when you are a student back in the day, between 2008 and 2013, you could only work 20 hours. So I started the Territorial Army. They had my file, they did my checks. I was okay. They hired me. But 2 days later on, they said, we can't take you, because they were bringing people to Wales, and that was for training. And they were paying you for 24 hours being with them. And I couldn't get paid that because I was only allowed to work 20 hours a week. So therefore, I had to leave anyway. That was like, you know, something that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it. But then I completed my education. I always used to go back to Saudi Arabia. I never stayed there as a student. So 2013, I made some amazing friends. Like I said, look, I've got family members who are white, right? They are British, they are Welsh, you know, they are Scottish, they are from here, they are white. And I went back in 2014 to Saudi Arabia. I was working, and I remember one of my very close friends, Jason, I'll name him because, you know, you don't mind me naming him. But Jason, he's from London, and we've been friends for now almost, 22 years now. And I remember him calling me, and I was in Saudi Arabia, and he said to me something has happened to him, that there was a Pakistani woman who called him a racist because he asked that lady to do her job properly. And she thought the easiest way for her to not do her job is to go up to the HR and say to the HR, oh, you know what? This guy said something to me, but I think he's being racist because, you know why? He's white. And I'm not white. I wear the headscarf and all this. And I said, that was nonsense. He said, yeah, you know what? I've lost my job. So he worked at a job for 5 years, coming up to a promotion. They kicked him out. No question asked. They didn't give him any working days, or you have to complete this. Nothing. They just, on the day, they fired him. So I heard that, and that was in 2014. So, you know, I spoke to my father, and I just, you know, there were things coming to my head. I had a good job in Saudi Arabia, but then I thought, I've got friends and family who are, then I was seeing a lot of this happening, or racism because everywhere I look, BBC, we used to watch BBC a lot because my father used to listen to news. And every time I was looking at BBC, the only thing I'm hearing, oh, racism against the Muslim, racism against the Pakistanis, racism against the minorities. And how is this is a lie? I have been there since 2008 up until 2014. I did not face racism. Look, you can hear my accent. I am an immigrant. Anybody can tell I'm an immigrant. So if I'm telling you I have not received any racism, so how can I believe that there is a racism that they're saying? So they said, oh, you know what? You don't know because you never worked in the UK. And I was like, yeah, actually, I never can. Maybe you're right. So there is a systematic racism. That's what they told me. And I was like, okay. 2017, I came back to the UK to do my master's degree. And when I was in here 2017, I started looking for jobs while I was there. In Birmingham, I was to do my MBA. While I was doing that, I went back to Saudi Arabia. Then I got a job in Volkswagen Financial Services in Milton Keynes in that office. And that's when I came back to, so 2018 up until now, I've been here. Since then, I never left the country. I've been here since then, always legally as well. I came through Heathrow Airport, you know, they had my fingerprints, they had my criminal records, they checked everything. And you won't believe it, it was so hard because when I applied for everything, I literally left one irrelevant paperwork to give it to the Home Office, and they rejected my visa. And I was like, I've been going to the UK 10 years. I've got multiple, I've used to get, as a tourist, used to get 10 years visa because the more regularly you go to the UK, they give you a longer visa. Obviously, you have to pay a little bit more. But I had that. And I was like, they know my record. They know my parents' record, my grandfather's brother who lives there. You know everything about us. But they rejected it. So obviously, I appealed it. Literally within 2 hours, I got an email from the Home Office. They said, "Oh, you didn't do a signature to a paper." And I said, that you rejected my whole process for that. You could have asked me for it. You didn't have to reject it. You could have said, "Oh, you forgot that." Anyway, I signed, give it to them. They then gave me the visa. Came to the Milton Keynes 2018. I start working in Milton Keynes in the Volkswagen Financial Services. So in all honesty, I have not seen any systematic racism, they say. But then people say, oh, you've only worked in, that Volkswagen Financial Service. No, I haven't. I actually work for, I work for Volkswagen Financial Services, Open University. Then I used to work for Enterprise Rent a Car. I was the sales, and I've got on my Twitter somewhere that I was awarded in the first month that I started with Enterprise Rent a Car. They awarded me as the best salesman. And then I worked for HSBC, NHS Track and Trace, for the Swansea Council, as well as Pembrokeshire County Council. Then I was working for verifications. And then my last job was in Swansea Council. But throughout this 5 years, I never had any issues. I've applied for jobs. If they thought that I was fit for the work, they will give me the job. And these are not jobs you do one phone interview and that's it. No, these are jobs where I had to do multiple interviews, sometimes 3 interviews. So you go stages on stages on stages, and each stage you have a different guy, you have a different person sitting there, and you have to do that all thing again. So it is all depend on merit. If you are good enough, you'll get the job. So then people start saying, oh, a systematic racism. Obviously, I said I'm the prime example. If you're telling me there's a systematic racism, where is it? Because I can't see it. Work in Milton Keynes, work in Reading, work in London. Now I'm working in Swansea. Well, I was working in Swansea. I have been to different cities and I didn't see anything. So I said that to them. And, when I say them, there are some of them are my friends. Some of them are the people that I see, but most of them are the ethnic minorities. Like you'll see the Pakistanis, some black people, some, all of these ethnic minorities. Then they said to me, oh, well, you know what, you've been very lucky. And I said, okay, that's a, 15 years of luck. That is a lot of luck for 15 years. But then I started hearing about Tommy Robinson. Like I said, look, Nick, I had a very good, I had a very good life, man. I'm a qualified guy. I've got a lot of experiences. I've always been working and I had an amazing life. So I never was into politics. And the reason why I left Saudi Arabia, or my parents left Pakistan, was we don't want nothing to do with politics. We come from a middle class family. We want to be the people just work, earn our hard earned money and just enjoy life and help anyone on the way. Like I think 99% of the people, I would say, have that mindset. Unless you're that fake asylum seeker, then you're looking at the benefit system, unfortunately. But that is the reality. And for me as well, I like your viewers to know as well, because I don't think a lot of people know this. And I think this is something that you put out there. Me being a legal citizen, a legal worker in the UK, I don't get any benefits. It says on my visa that I'm not entitled to any public benefit, but this is something that I sign off when I applied for it. I cannot cry about that. Oh, I get no benefit. I don't want it. Do I pay into it? Of course I do. I've been paying it since 2008. With my education, my master's fees, which my father paid, by the way, was £22,000, coming up to 23 grand. It was just for 1 year of my my tuition fee. And then I was living here, never worked when I was studying here, and everything is in. I've got receipts and papers and everything. But anyway, so when I start hearing the same people who told me there's a systematic racism, there's a racism, but when I proved them wrong, they came out and they start talking about this guy called Tommy Robinson. And they're like, oh, you've never heard of this guy. He sees you're going to deport you. And I was like, what, really? Is he that bad? They're like, yeah. So I started looking into him. Obviously, in my free time, usually I didn't have free time, but I would look into him. And I've seen some people, it's usually the Muslims and the Pakistanis I've seen, because I'm a Pakistani. So that's what I focused. And these Pakistani coming out, oh, Tommy Robinson is this. He's a racist. He's a this. And for me, I like to see it for myself. Right. So there were protests going on about these pro-Pali protests, which has gone really, really bad since the October the 7th last year. Oh, sorry, way before last year. So they've been doing a lot of rallies, and I was working at the Swansea Council at that time. And then they had these protests and a counter-protest outside the Swansea Council. And I was coming out of my work on a Saturday. I was in my suit, came out, and there was this gentleman. I think he was white. He was from England, but he was there, and he seen me. A guy of color, and he was on the pro-Pali side, and he said, hey, come here, can I talk to you? And I said, yeah, I can talk. And I said to him, can I record you if you're talking? He said, yeah. So I just had my phone on me. I wasn't a journalist or anything. I started recording him, and he started off by telling me, oh, you see them people there. So there was a stop the boats protest, and these people were the counter protests. And I said, yeah, what's wrong with that? He was like, oh, surely a guy who looks like you would be offended by that. I said, no, I didn't come here on a boat. Why would I be offended? You see, I just walked out of my work, my job, right? You can see I can speak somewhat good English. I'm not the best in English, but I can try my best. But yeah, I didn't come here on a boat. So he was like, so what do you think? And this is what I said to him. I said to him, I think these people come in all the way from whatever war-torn country that they claim they're coming from, and they go through all these. Turkey is the first. If they're coming from Middle East, the first country that they will land, or by boat or whatever, it will be Turkey, safe country. I think it's a good country. A lot of people go there on holidays. If you are running from a war-torn country, surely that would be the first country, and you will go. And not only that, there is a British, American, European embassies there. If you have the paperwork, if you are actually running from the thing, go to that embassy. They will give you a safe place till they do your process. Within the embassy, you'll be safe there. And once they think, the British government think you are the right asylum seeker, they will put you on a plane and they will send you there. I have seen it. The reason I'm saying it, because I have seen people coming through like that. I've seen people from Pakistan, some Muslims become ex-Muslims, and they then had to run away from it. As soon as we landed on Heathrow, police officers and immigration will come up. They will call people by name and their seat numbers, and they will take them out. And that will show that these people are asylum seekers. So why couldn't they do that? Beyond me. So when I said that, they were like, oh, in Turkey, there's a Muslim thing. And I said, okay, that's fine. They come through Europe then. You've got Germany, you've got plenty of countries that they go through. Why come to London? Why come to London? And he was like, oh, maybe they got relatives. And I said, and I got relatives in America. Do you think I'd jump on a boat, turn up to America and be like, hey, guess what, guys? I'm here now. You need to cater me. You need to give me a free house. And the moment I said that, I can see myself being surrounded by 4 or 5 other white, woke, liberal women. Right? They came a camera on my face, and I still got the screenshots. They put my face like wildfire on a Facebook group, calling me a Nazi, calling me a fascist. And I was looking at it and I said, I'm brown. You calling me a Nazi? I've never seen a brown Nazi in my life. But she's like, oh, you're a Nazi, you're a race. How dare you say that? How dare? And I was like, look, I'm a Pakistani. So I was talking about the Afghanis, basically. They were saying, well, we want to bring in the Afghans. We want to welcome them. I said, no, we don't want to welcome them. I said, what for? I am Pakistani. We share a border with Afghans. I know how dangerous these people are. While I say not all of them, but I will say majority of them are very dangerous people. And I'm talking about men. I don't see any women and children coming in. I have been to Dover myself. I have seen none. Absolutely zero. So when I said that, obviously they jumped on me. The police asked me to move. And I was like, why should I move? It's a free space. I'm literally outside my work. She's like, no, you have to move. If you don't move, we're going to give you a section. And I've been here, like I said, 10 years. I never have no run-in with the police. I don't have as much as a speeding ticket. So I got a bit worried. And I said, I remove myself. Look, I don't want to go to jail. I remove myself from there. And as I was walking, I was like, you know what? I see a lot of white people there. They're saying, stop the boats. We don't want illegals, immigrant and asylum seekers and all that. I said, you know what? I'll go there and I will record them and I will make sure, let's take a reaction for both sides. So this was my just learning point. I went on the other side, and you won't believe it, Nick. These white people, these racist, fascist, Nazi white people have welcomed me with love. Nothing but love. They were so nice to me. They were so kind to me that I actually felt ashamed to be standing there and looking at them. And that's when I got really angry. I went back there and I said, I see some Muslim people there. They were from the mosque. I know them. And I said to them, you should be ashamed of yourself, because them people are standing over there. They're not racist. They're not talking about you. They're talking about the illegals coming. How dare you call them racist? They turn on me. I had to leave. I literally got in my car and I drove off, and I thought that was it. That happened on a Saturday. And I remember I talk about this to my wife. My wife is white Welsh. She is from the valleys. Talk to her about it, and she's like, forget it, it's fine. And I said, yeah, let's forget it, it's fine. Went to sleep, woke up next day. Do you know what, Nick? The amount of death threats I got from Afghani people, and you know how they got my number? From the people from the mosque, because I have done some charities for their special needs kids. I used to go and paint one of the kids' kitchen. I went to do that, and that is when I had a job, and I will go after my job. So they had my number. What they have done, right? Overnight, they've seen that video of me calling them racist and everything. They spread my number to everybody. I was getting phone calls from the pizza shop, illegal workers working there, the asylum seekers. I know them all because I speak Arabic when I see them. I don't speak to them in English. I speak to them in their own language, and I let them know that, you know what, you're not welcome here. Leave the white people. I'm telling you, not welcome here. I who pay £5,000 towards the Home Office, from which £2,800 only go to the NHS, and NHS that I don't use. I can't use. I've got a toothache since last 3 months, and I'm still waiting for a referral. I haven't got it, and I pay 2,800 on the spot. Otherwise, my Home Office application doesn't go through. So, and obviously I'm annoyed. I'm more, of course you guys are angry, but I am angry when I'm paying 5,000. I see these people just turn up and they're like, oh, I've got this problem, that problem. On the reception, there's a doctor sitting there, and I know these doctors. I know these doctors who have said to me, yes, we have worked with them. People will say, oh, you're making up things, making up lies. How much lies can I make? I am not from here. Why would I, what does it benefit me? And I'll tell you what has happened to me since then. got death threats. I recorded a little bit of it, called the police, and the police said to me, "How do we not know you're doing it to yourself?" I said, "Are you that stupid? I've been here. I've been here for 10 years. I've never done this. Doesn't suit me. Why would I do this? Get myself labeled a racist and all over the thing? I can potentially lose my job." They were like, "Yeah, we can't help you because we can't really tell much." And I said, "Okay, that's absolutely fine." But then there was another police officer. He did try to identify the woman. So it was another that white woman who were recording me and everything. So because I had a lot of hard proof evidence, I had recordings, I had everything because I was clever in that way. Because I had that, what the this standard to racism. So she was with the standard to racism. They had to let her go because they said you're too much of a problem for her because he have now outed you. And now police are going to come look at you, and then they're going to look at all of us. The best thing is you just go. What they did to her, they sent her off on a holiday. Yeah, I've never seen after it. I have never ever seen it. But anyways, that happened. And then I then decided to go to the Tommy Robinson march after that because once that happened, I had a lot of interviews. I went to Paul Thorpe's channel. I went to Voice of Wales, did an interview with them. When I did that, then I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to see for myself. If they are telling me they're racist, I've seen there is no systematic racism. There is no other racism. But now the people are telling me there is this racism, which I've never seen. So might as well go and experience that myself. And I did. I did in October the 26th when Tommy Robinson got arrested, when they had that march. I was there with Voice of Wales and I was front line. So I went all the way back. I was in front. I was talking to people. I was getting a lot of love from everybody. I did not see any racism. If anything, I have seen Richard Inman on the stage telling people that there are people who are not white. If you don't like it, you can leave. We don't want you here. Like, this is how much they were looking out for people like me, for ethnic minorities. They were making sure that people like us are safe. So I'm looking at that, and this is all new to me, and I'm thinking to myself, how are these people calling them racist? So I started recording it. I started writing my notes, and I wasn't on X or anything at that time, but I then decided I'm going to go on X as well. Anyways, I came back. That was a Saturday rally. Came back on Sunday, did my notes and everything, write a nice article on it, put some pictures out, release it on Sunday, and it got picked up. Because I met Tommy Robinson, actually. I met Tommy Robinson before the rally. He was in Luton, and I was in Luton, so I've seen him, and I went and I did a very brief I spoke to him very briefly because I wanted to, get the sense of the character that he's got, the sense of thing. He was amazing. And I looked at it, I'm like, man, you know what? He's a patriot. If anything, for me, I start calling him the Great White British Hope. That's what I called him. I said he's hope for these people. This is who he is. And when I did that, I came back, attended the rally, and I held on to everything, put up the picture out, spoke about Tommy Robinson. Then I spoke about the rally, and I said these people are not racist. And you won't believe it, Nick. That was it. After that, I lost my job with the Swansea Council. They called me into the office out of the blue and they said to me, "Can you please delete your YouTube channel? Can you please delete your X account?" And I'm like, you got councillors who does 2 hateful pro-Palestinian rallies a week, and these are the councillors, and they go out and they shout Nazi fascist scum to all these people, just random people walking by who just don't want nothing to do with their cause. Because I got my political view, you've got yours. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean you have the right to call me a Nazi or a racist or fascist. You can't do that. But there are councillors doing it. But they said to me, yeah, it doesn't matter. We want you to not have an opinion, basically. If you want to work in your job, you will have to delete everything. And we give you 1 day to do it. And I was like, just like that. She's like, yeah, just like that. And I was like, okay. I went to my office and I remember I used to work with 4 other white girls that used to work with me. Very, very nice ladies. They've been working there for almost 20, 25 years. So, I remember being, and I think that was the saddest time for me because I'm not British, right? I'm not white. I'm just an immigrant, a legal, law-abiding immigrant who's very proud to be in the UK because I love the UK and I think this is the greatest nation that there is, to be honest. And I'm the guy who've lived in many, many countries and I can say that. So anyway, when I went there, they said to me, and these are the white colleagues that I was. She said to me, "Shoaib, you know what? You're such an amazing guy. Why is it that you need to do this? You're not white. Leave these people." I said, "I work for the council. We are getting paid for working for the people who we are not looking after. We're busy talking about foreign affairs. We're busy talking about, oh my God, I'm going to do a marathon for the people in Gaza. What about the marathon for the kids of your own city? Not even country, your own city of Swansea. I know personally people, single parents, single mothers, single dads, who cannot look after their kids, who did not buy any Christmas presents last year because they couldn't afford it, who could not go to any birthday parties because they couldn't afford a gift to take their kids there, and they had to lie to the kids, oh, I'm working. Can't take you there because I'm working. Like, why are you not doing that? Or some people are telling me, oh, I raised £1,000, £10,000 for the people of Gaza. What about your own people? It's like me. I'm not paying my bills and I'm out here. I'm going to help everybody. You will tell me, shit, go back and pay your bills first and then come and help. You cannot tell me to clean your house when your house is dirty, it's filthy. Clean your own house, then come and clean it. So, anyways, they said that to me. They gave me a day, and I'm not going to lie, Nick, because I know I'm not going to get any benefits. I did thought to myself, and I said, these ladies are right. But then I look at them. I look at them working there for 25 years. All they have done is thought about themselves, being selfish about themselves. While there are people, there are veterans, there are homeless people, there are drug addicts, because they got nothing else to do. When you are so depressed and upset, you will take drugs. You need that to get away for fun. I don't do any drugs. I don't drink, I don't smoke. But I understand why some of the people they do, because I've spoken to them. I speak to them. So I looked at them and I said to myself, yes, I can actually delete my X account. I don't get paid from X or YouTube or anything. Delete my X account. These people are paying me. Just, stick to my job, be happy in my life, and just do that. But something in my mind was like, what kind of loyalty would I have to this country and to the people of this country who've been nothing but kind to me, right? I've got white friends who can then be the target. If I keep my mouth shut, I say they're not racist, but then all of a sudden I disappear. They'll be like, yeah, he was lying. That's why he's not here, because he lied and now he ran off. So I said to my boss, I went to her and I said, you know what? I'm not going to delete my YouTube. I'm not going to delete my X. You do what you need to do, and I'll just do what I need to do. I left the office, went to my car. I had a call. Can you please return the badge? And can you please return your laptop? And I had to return it. Literally, this all happened within 20 minutes. There was no HR. There was absolutely nothing. I didn't get any emails or anything up until December something. I got an email, but on the spot I got fired. And man, Nick, I have not cried. Been in the UK 10 years in my life. I don't cry easy at all. But that day I remember giving her the badge, and I sat in my car and I cried. I said, I've got a wife. I've got a special needs daughter. If I'm not looking after them, who's doing it? Right? I don't get benefits. You see, my wife does, because she's a Welsh, she's a white Welsh woman, and her daughter is also white. And I was like, basically, I felt like I failed them. But I said to myself, let's go back, look for other jobs, and this is going back in October. I started looking for other jobs straight away. I was applying for 20-30 jobs, which I still am, 20-30 jobs a day. And unfortunately, because they've called me a racist, nobody want to deal with me, because there was another private business they want to hire me. And I remember turning up to the interview. These pro-Pallies turned up outside that organization, and they said to him, unless you fire him, they were like, we're not hiring him, we just interviewing him. They don't know, unless you let him go, otherwise we will be here every other day. You'll hear us shouting, fascists out, racists out, and you will see us. If you want that for your business, then keep him. If you don't want that for your business, so this is intimidation. If you don't want that for your business, you need to let them go. They literally closed my file. They gave it to me. They said, man, you know what, Shoaib, can you please leave? And I left. I was like, this is crazy. I tried calling the police. The police were like, oh, it is their right. I was like, man, that is, that is annoying. How is it that this is their right? But anyways, October happened, and now we are in September. I don't have a job. Right? I don't have a job. My application is right now, as we speak, is with the Home Office. The Muslim community, the Pakistani community, and the Bengali Muslim community within Swansea have reported me to the police, have reported me to the Prevent, which is counterterrorism, have reported me to the Pakistani embassy and the Home Office. So in January, I got arrested by the police, and they put me in prison for 15 hours. And I'm still under investigation, by the way. It's been 9 months and I'm still under investigation. I can't talk about it too much, but I can tell you what it is in regards to. It is me being racist towards the Muslim community. Does that even cross your mind? Like, how the hell can you be from a community and be racist towards them? It's like I'm looking at myself and I say, oh, you know what? I don't like something about me, or you're racist about. How can you be racist towards your own self? All I try to do is try to point out, which I have seen I'm 38 now, for my 30 years of my life, the problems that come with the Pakistani culture and embedded in the religion itself. I have seen that. And when I came to the UK, I did not want UK to be a Muslim country. If I wanted a Muslim country, I'll go to a Muslim country. There is Oman, there is Dubai, there's amazing. There's Kuwait, even Saudi Arabia as well. These are a good Muslim country. If I wanted that, I would stay there. But then my thing was, so I before I got arrested, I was visited by Prevent Police, which is the counterterrorism police. They came to my house. A lot of people told me, don't let them in. They were like, I was like, no, I want them to come in because I want to see what it is they want to say to me. So I let them in. We had a 50 minutes long video. It's on my YouTube channel, but I'll tell you briefly. They asked me a few things. They said to me, why is it that you go out and you speak about that you want to shut down the Islamic religious school in the UK? And I looked at the police and I said, I'm a Muslim, right? And he was like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Why do you want to shut down the Islamic religious school? I said, okay, if you're asking, I'll tell you. So basically, from the age of 11 up until the age of 16, I went to Islamic religious school, which is also called madrasa. And I went there, and it was all boys. We had teachers from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. From the age of 11 till the age of 16, 5 days a week, right? And I'm not exaggerating. 5 days a week, I used to get sexually harassed by these teachers as a boy. They used to harass me from age 11 till up until 16. And because I did not know about sex and anything, I never knew what was it that was going on. But they would harass me. But just before they let me go home, they used to beat me up so much. And and now I know why they did this, because they thought if I were to go and complain about them, like I said, I didn't know what was going on. But if I were to complain about them, they would have said, he's a bad student. Look how much we have beaten up because he doesn't study. So that is them deflecting, which is Pakistani community is known for deflection tactics. That they grew up on this. This is in their culture. They use it everywhere. And then they did that to me for it. So I said to the police, and I still got marks on my legs, which was bruises back when I was young. Now they're marks. They don't go. And every time I wear shorts, I can see them. It does hurt me a little bit. But you know what? At the end of the day, we decide to move on. And I do what I do because I don't want another child to be me. I don't want another child going there and getting harassed and all that. I don't want these things happening to other kids. So I said to the police, and I was wearing shorts when he came to my house, and I showed him the marks. And I said, you see these marks? And I said, you're a police officer. You would know these marks were once bruises. And he said, yeah. And I said, yeah, this is why I will say to you in front of you, I do not want any Islamic school, not one, not two, or maybe, no, none, zero Islamic schools in the UK. It's a Christian country. You want to have a religious school? Have a Christian religious school. Have that. You don't have enough. You don't even have plenty of churches in the UK anymore. So maybe focus on that. Don't come after me for my experiences. But then I said as a joke, because I did not know how serious this was. So I said to him, obviously you're telling me, that I'm being racist, because that's exactly what you did to your own white girls when they came out and they said, oh, there's a Pakistani rapist gangs, and you said, oh, don't say that because you're racist. I said, you guys are known for doing that. And the moment I said that to him, he started recording on his camera. Another guy started recording on his camera. And I knew it. I messed up a little bit. I was like, you know what? I'm going to say what I have to do. We'll see what happens. So this happened on a Friday morning. And following Sunday morning, I got arrested, put in the prison. And then they had a big charge against me for being racist to the Muslim community. I can't really name people or anything. I won't, because understand, but I can tell you, it is majority of the mosque. They have gotten together. They have seen me as a threat, and they were like, you know what, this guy, because if you say exactly what I've just said, or if you had a white guy sitting and say exactly what I've said, no matter how much facts you've got, no matter how much proof you've got, no matter you've got a video clip, they will still call you racist, right? And I thought they won't call me a racist, because guess what? You can't call me a racist because I am from that community. Unfortunately, that did work. They didn't call me a racist. I went to prison 15 hours till now. From January till now, I'm still in an investigation. Police got my phone, and they have access to my ex account. God knows why they need my ex account, but I said, if you want it, I never give it to them, but they sign off the paper from the judges and all that. But this was so fast tracked. When I see my case been fast tracked because of something that I said online, and to see the people the Manchester people who literally punched the police officer, I still don't know what his outcome is. I don't know if it's done or not done. I know he's been pled guilty or whatnot, but I don't know whether is he still free or is he in prison. But they didn't. It took them literally 2 days to put me in prison. Somebody had to come, they're like, yeah, oh, this is a threat. We need, been here 10 years, don't have as much as speed to take. But anyways, so after all of this that has happened, I came home. I was broken, man. You know what? I was like, maybe I don't want to do this, because they did say to me, if you go and speak to the mosque, why should I go speak to the mosque? Like, who the hell is the mosque? Why should I go there? I live in the UK. If I want to speak to somebody, I speak to the police or the justice system. No. If you want to go and speak to the mosque, between yourself, and if you guys come to a conclusion, maybe we can take the report back. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. As I'm not going to do that. When I said that, just recently, I had another police officer turn up to my house. And he said, you need to come to and I recorded that as well. And he said, oh, you need to come to the police station before, or because because there is a crime, because he knew I was recording. He didn't want to say it. I said, you're telling me that now you've come back again to tell me that I'm being racist towards my own community, towards a Muslim. Is that what it is? He was like, I said, don't say kind of, because I'm not going to turn up. If you want me to come, right? You're asking me to be there. You need to tell me why am I coming there. He said, okay, yes, it is to do with that. You being racist. I said, you know what? I said, I'll come. Don't worry. I'm going to be there. So, when people say Islamophobia, for me, Islamophobia is a fake term. It should never ever been, should never have been put in the UK, because Islamophobia is a fake word. I know this, and I know why it is there now, because of things like what we are talking about right now.
Yeah. Islamophobia is something used to shut people up criticizing Islam. That's all it is. That's why the word was created in the first place, because the Islamists wanted something like racism, like homophobia. They wanted something they could use as a weapon to shut people up.
So the Islamophobia word. Do you know who invented it? Do you know who invented the Islamophobia word? Why it came in the...
Yeah, it was something like the Islamic Brotherhood.
The Muslim Brotherhood, and we are very well aware of the Muslim Brotherhood because they're banned everywhere in the Middle East. But for them to run wild in a Christian country, it's amazing. I got friends in Saudi Arabia. They look at what's going on right now, because obviously when I got arrested, people seen it. My brothers find out, my parents found out, and everybody else. So I was getting a lot of calls from Saudi. This, what the hell they arrested you for? I said, yeah, for being a racist. They couldn't believe it. But then we spoke about this, and that's what they said to me, and that's what I said to them as well. I said, you know how funny it is? Saudi Arabia, Dubai, these countries being a Muslim country, the birthplace of Islam is Saudi Arabia, being their country, and they have banned the Muslim Brotherhood. I live there and I know they're banned. And how is it that they're allowed in the UK? It's just beyond me. And he was like, you know what? I feel like, so these are the people who are sitting outside and watching us now in the UK, and they're saying, I feel like you've got more liberals in Saudi Arabia, liberal Muslims in Saudi Arabia, than you have in the UK. UK is supposed to be, the freedom of speech. The UK is supposed to be the example of freedom of speech. Unfortunately, it's not. But then we talk about Islamophobia, which I think is a fake word, like you just said. And like I know it has been invented by the Muslim Brotherhood to stop us. People like me, people like you, people like other people who like to criticize Islam, or even that they like to criticize Muslims because of their behavior. You can't do that anymore. Right? And people say, oh, there is no Sharia law. I said, look, I have been through the justice system. And that is happening only because there is a Sharia law. I can promise you right now, Nick, because I see this all the time. When I go to London, I see Muslims out there. They will target Christian people, especially, and they'll go to them and say, oh, are you Christian? And the guy will be like, yeah, I'm Christian. There's somebody who's just out and about doing their shopping on a weekend with their family, and all of a sudden you get these thugs looking with long beard and fat going, are you Christian? And be like, yeah, I'm Christian. Or, your religion is fake. Your religion is wrong. So I'm thinking to myself, how is it that you are in a Christian country, which is the UK, and you are allowed to criticize the hell out of Christianity? Oh, no problem. You can call them liars. You can tell their books are fake. You can do this. You can do it. But the moment somebody turns around and say, you know what? You said enough about my Christianity. Guess what, man? You are a Muslim? Yes. Your Islam is fake. I don't believe in it because I believe in Christianity. Oh, there we go. Mr. Police Officer, this guy has been Islamophobic. So where is the Christian folk? Why can we not have, if they want to have Islamophobia, right? Let's bring in the Christian phobia and let's everybody get behind it and say, every time you say something about Christianity, guess what? I'm calling the police. And the police don't want to do anything. Then anybody who gets or goes to jail in the term of Islamophobia, we all need to go there. We say, you're not taking him to jail, because before you take this guy to jail on Islamophobia, we know a lot of racists who are racist towards the Christian, who are racist towards the white people. Put them in jail first, and then we'll talk. It's not. It should be either both sides, or it shouldn't be neither side. It can't be one. And I'm telling you this as a brown man. When people have talked to me about, oh, there is a lot of white privilege, there's white privilege, this and that. I said there is a lot of brown privilege. There is a lot of privilege when you can't speak English, yet the Swansea Council hire you as the head of the Swansea Social Services. So I know a lady who can't speak English, right? And she worked for the Swansea Council, and she's the head of social services. So imagine a guy like you, Nick. You've got a problem with your kid, and you're calling Swansea Council. A lady answers the phone. It's supposed to be the emergency contact because she's out of hours. Yeah, I need help for my son or my daughter. Something has happened. Can you send someone? What? No English language. You'll be like, what the hell's going on? How do you have somebody in a place they can't speak or understand English, yet you expect them to do the work that's supposed to? How is it? This is DI hires. This is diversity. I'm against that. If somebody said to me that we will hire you because we need to fill in the diversity, I say, you know what, keep that job. I don't want it. You hire me either for my qualification and look at my work. Give me that probation period where you see my work and then tell me we want to keep you permanently, or you tell me to go, and I should go. If I can't do the job, why the hell am I there? But Swansea Council, and I know plenty of other council, I know the NHS are known to do this, and I have questioned the NHS where I've seen somebody who can't speak English, and I said to them, "Why is this lady working here? She can't speak English." They looked at me first because they couldn't say I'm a racist, because I said, "What are you going to say? My English is not good either, but I am telling you, why is she there?" They said, "Oh, we sometimes we need people who need to translate." So I said, "So for that sometime, which is probably once in a blue moon, because all your illegal asylum seekers, they got, they got private healthcare because everybody goes to them, they don't come here. So for that once in a blue moon, you've hired an NHS worker who can't speak English, which means she doesn't do anything. She just walk around back and forth for 8 hours and then get paid for it. Is that what you're telling me?" They're like, "Oh, we're not going to speak to you. Very rude." And I was like, "Okay." That's what it was. And then for them to come out and say, "Oh, the budget is short," right? They're hiring police officers who are not fit to be police. I'm sorry. I can't. I used to be pro police. I used to love the police, the British police. I wanted to be the British police, but now I'm, I like I said, I'm not even from here, but I just feel embarrassed when people bring up the topic of British police, because I know what my friend does. Every time that there is something going on in the UK, an asylum seeker have raped a British child, or they've murdered a British child, my friend will be sending me videos of the police dancing and doing all this and all that. And I'm like, how crazy is that? And then, Liam Tufts, I'm sure you've seen his video where he went to shake the hand of the police officer, and he was standing there like that. Do you know what I would say? I know a lot of people might say I'm wrong. They have said Liam was wrong, but in my opinion, right, I have been up to the police officer and I've said to them, "Oh, thank you so much for whatever." They've always shook my hand. That day with Liam, it wasn't about, "Oh, I'm doing my duty. I can promise you, if I was there and if I said to him, "Shake your hand," he would have shook my hand. I can promise you that. But he didn't do it to Liam because, it's the difference of, "Oh, you know what? Oh, what do you think of yourself? Or you're a racist." But he's not. I know Liam Tufts. Like, I've seen him in all the marches. I've spoken to the guy. I've taken pictures with this guy. He's not racist at all. But, unfortunately, this is where we are. And like I said, Nick, I haven't told this to anybody, but I would say it to you on your show, because I don't think I want to do a post about this. But with everything that has happened now, unfortunately, I have come to a point that in 38 years of my life, I have never been in this position, but I am in a position now. I can't pay my bills anymore. I'm just almost about just paid my rent last month. So I have started to pack up. Basically, you can see my room as well. I was just packing up as well. I don't want to. I don't have a plan B, but I am somewhat thinking to maybe it's time for me to move out of the UK, maybe go somewhere with a Pakistani passport. I don't see many opportunities. There is none. And I do feel sorry for my wife, who is a Welsh woman who never lived anywhere other than the UK, and she's got a daughter as well who's special needs. She have never left the country, right? She's special. She's very severely special needs. So, do you know what? This is what they do. And I'm a law-abiding citizen, man. I've got no criminal record. I've got no history. I got many friends. Then I got no enemies, basically. But the Muslim community is obviously after me. But I know for a fact they are going to reject my visa. It's with the Home Office now. They are going to reject it. And the reason, which my lawyers have already told me, will be that you cannot support yourself financially, and therefore they don't think it is right for them to give you the visa. But my lawyers, as well as many other amazing people that I know, have said to me, "Why don't you claim asylum?" Again, I know. But again, this is just something to do with me. It's a very personal thing to me, but I will never claim asylum, because I've always believed asylum will be either for women and children, not for men. I'm neither a woman nor a child, so I'm not going to claim asylum as well. So we'll see what happens. It's not, and that's why I reached out to you, because I just feel like my time being in the UK is coming to it, which is I'm very sad about it, because when I came to the UK in 2018, I got an amazing job. I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen in my every car that I owned, I always used to have a Union Jack on it. No matter how many people, even my wife said to me, "What the hell are you doing to the car? You're ruining our brand new car." And I was like, I love the country this much that I like to keep it. And I've got Union Jacks and the Welsh flag. I had to put the Welsh flag. Obviously, I live in Wales, and also my wife is Welsh. And I didn't know there was a thing between the English and the Welsh and all these things. So I didn't know. I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, my bad. But yeah, I've got the Welsh flag. I am the only house in all this area. It's a very big area who have got these flags, and I've been waving these flags before. Raise the colors was a trend, was a thing. I've been doing it long before. So, like I said, bought my first car, which is an Audi A3. I put my flag on it, which was the Union Jack, because I was Milton Keynes. Everybody used to say to me, "Oh, you're ruining your car. Nobody's going to buy it." And I was like, if nobody's going to buy it, that's fine. It's my car. I do whatever the hell I want to do. Then you got foreign flags people put in there, and they're so proud of it. I live in this country, man. Everything given to me was as from this country, the opportunities, the man that I am today, the things that I've got today, it is by the kindness of the British, the British people, the British government, the British system, basically. And I'm very grateful to it. I've got a lot of gratitude. But I do feel like it is probably coming to an end of my journey here. I think I'm not even sure if I'm going to go and attend the 13 because I feel like I let a lot of people down, and that's why I couldn't say it to anybody. I wanted to do a post, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I'm worried. I know people will be not angry at me, but they'll be upset, and I don't want to upset people. I've already got an upset wife and upset daughter because since I've lost my job and everything, you weren't able to do anything at all. But like I said, look, man, I don't think the people owe me anything. I don't think anybody owe me anything. If somebody owes me something, is the Swansea Council for being traitors to their own people. And like I said, I don't need anything for free. I told them, just give me my job back, which to this, they did email me back and they said, you're not going to get your job back because of your views. And that is all to do with Tommy Robinson, me saying white people are not racist. And these are the white people now telling me that because of your views, you calling us, we're not racist. How dare you say that? So that's what they've said. And I've tried and tried. I'm not going to get a job being in Swansea. And, and I lost my job the day I got this house. So I just don't think I want to be here anymore.
So so basically, you're an immigrant who came to this country, followed the law, played the game the way it should be played, put roots down, integrated, got yourself a Welsh wife.
We met in B&Q, by the way. We met out and about, yeah.
Oh, that's really English as well, meeting in B&Q. And then because you went against the political narrative that we're a racist, evil country, because your experience here didn't prove any of that, and you spoke out about it, and you stuck up for the British people. Because of that, the Pakistani Muslim bloc vote got their politicians to influence the police to ruin your reputation to such an extent you've lost your job and you're basically unemployable now because whatever job you apply for, whoever takes you on will get crap from the stand up to racism, free Palestine, refugees welcome idiots. So that's the complete opposite of how we think we treat immigrants. We think illegals can come over here, we give them everything. But we get a legal migrant come over here doing everything we've ever asked them to do, and they're punished. And you wonder why less and less migrants and less Muslims do what you do, because you're punished for it.
Yeah, man, it is what it is. What can I say? Like I said, man, I don't think the British people or anybody owes me anything. I did what I did, and like I said, I did it because, as you know, I've got a white wife. My wife is white. I wouldn't want my wife or my daughter to be out and about somewhere and somebody calling them a racist. I wouldn't stand that at all. I've got a grandmother. Like I said, my grandfather's brother's wife, she's white as well. Like, I got a family of white people. I've got a family of Indian people. We are very much integrated, and we go like, everybody's within. If you look within my household, you can see plenty of people from different race, religion, and culture. My grandfather's brother's wife, I call her my grandmother, but I know people don't understand because it's a Pakistani culture. Everybody's a grandfather, everybody's a grandmother that age. So my grandmother, she's a Christian. She never became a Muslim. She never wanted to become Muslim, and that was it. That was her choice. But unfortunately, you're right. But like I said, look, I don't think people owe me. Then like I said, I know the white people don't want me doing this for them. I just did it because I thought there should be a voice like mine, and it should be heard. Because anybody else saying, if you come out and say, "Oh, white people are not racist," they'll say, "Yeah, well, you're going to say that because you're white." But when I come out and say that white people are not racist, what do they do other than locking me up now? If they didn't lock me up, right, and if I still had my job, I probably would have done a lot more because I have always been front lines. I have been always front lines. I have been to all the marches that I can attend to, no matter how far they are. But unfortunately, now a time has come when I feel like, I do want to go to the 13th of September march, and I had a lot of ideas and things. But when it comes down to, you can't even pay your bills, and then me traveling all the way, taking my car, paying for the fuel and everything. I'm like, what? As much as I love to, man, but I do feel like it's my wife and my daughter it's coming up to 1 year. They've suffered enough. We worked really hard to get this house, the house that I'm in now. But the day I got the keys to this house, I was fired from my job. and all the savings and everything has gone through this towards just paying the bills, and bills keeps going up and up, no matter how much you save and do. But yeah, that's as unfortunate.
The same thing happened to there's a lady called Lubna.
I know Lubna.
So the same things happened to her. She's had to flee Luton with her children. There's death threats on her, all because, like you, she spoke up and said what she saw around her and told the truth. And even though it's hard for her and hard for you, you both did the right thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, I think it's still different because Lubna is from that town. Like, if I grew up in somewhere, I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to. I would be like, it's my house. Why should I leave? I'm sure, but obviously Lubna, she's got kids, and she's a lady at the end of the day. She got a lot of responsibilities, and she's. The thing is, Lubna was the very first person that I actually went on her when she used to do these interviews. I was the very first. I was the guy, and she was the very first person to said, "Yeah, I will have you on." And she gave me my voice, and I've been to her podcast maybe 5-6 times, been on her live, but obviously had to remove some of the videos because of the threats she's got. And I know she did it not only for herself, for the people who came to her channel, like myself as well. She had to remove that video because then the Muslim going after her, they will look at me and they'll come after me. But then I did an interview, and I don't know a lot of people know this. I did an interview outside Tommy's court case. That was a couple of months ago when we went to London. I did an interview with quite a few other people. So somebody clipped that interview and they put it on Instagram, which I have seen that. And if you look at the comments, it's like liked by many, many people. So there are very few positive comments, but that is again from the white people, from the British people who are saying, what, amazing, amazing. And then all the Muslim people, and I'm talking about people who work in BBC, who've got gigs on BBC, they are coming out and they're saying, oh, look at this coconut, look at this, look at that. And then these are the same people that when I look into their stuff, they're always crying racism. They call me a coconut, right? Oh, that's fine. But somebody else turn around and call them a coconut, but oh, that's racist. Oh, that's racist. So you can see they are playing a game. And I think people start seeing this. And like I said, for me coming to your channel, Nick, now, like I said, I'm very grateful to come to your channel because I thought before I leave, if anything I can say to people is like, you need to stand united. The more together you people are standing, the more it's hard for the police is gonna, yes, they are gonna arrest. Like they arrested me, they tried to shut me up. They did everything they could in their power, basically. My job is gone. My livelihood. I used to have 3 cars at the time. I can't even afford one now. So my livelihood is gone. Everything. I've lost everything. I have literally, and I am very lucky to have the wife that I've got because she's Welsh. She's very strong. I think she's very strong in nature in a way that she can take a lot of hardship because we've been going through hardships in the last 7-8 months now. It's nothing but hardship, and she's stood by me, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy with that. I think I made the very right decision when I choosing my wife. So yeah, I think that was really good. But a lot of people cannot handle this, and that's when they fold. When they're like, what, it's too much. But I believe if people stand together, if they stick around to it, and I wish if there was a way I could stick around, I could have been it because I know one thing. These Muslims, they actually came to threaten me. 8 of them turned up to me. And I recorded that as well. I've given that recording to the police. That's why I can't play it. They're still taking it as long as they can, so I can't play it anywhere else because the moment I play it, I can't represent it in the court. But my lawyers have heard it. These 8 people have come to me and they have forced me. They were Bengali Muslims, and they said to me from Swansea, you need to delete your YouTube, you need to delete your X account, and you need to say Tommy Robinson is a racist. And I said, I'm not going to do that. What are you going to do? Beat me up? Do it. I said, they tried their intimidation tactic as much as they can when they knew that I'm a Pakistani man. I'm not going to be scared with these guys. I turned up to places by myself. They will threaten me. I get a threat. Or if you're a man enough, come to the mosque. I'll turn up outside the mosque. And they won't come out. They will be looking at me. Is this guy's an idiot or what? You got 20 people sitting in the mosque waiting to beat me up, but I'm not scared of them. So when they have seen this tactics doesn't work, what they have done then, they got the police involved. What can I do against the policeman? I'm not a criminal. If I was a criminal, I would have said, bring on the police. But I can't say that. I'm not a criminal. I never intend to be a criminal. I will never be a criminal. And for that, yes, if I'm folding, it's not because of these people. I'm not scared of them. If this case gets closed, if the home, I'll say this, I'll say this. If the Home Office were to come back and grant me my visa, that would be a miracle for so. If they grant me a visa, guess what? I'm not going anywhere. I am going to stay. Right? I'll change cities. I don't care. But then again, when I come to changing Swansea to go to London or anywhere, people have said to me, why don't you move to London? Then I think I worked so hard to get this house. Why should I leave this house? Why should I do that? And that is my arrogance. And I'm like, I'm not going to leave. This is just my values. If you want to turn up. And that's why When I've got all these flags on my house, I have a picture of myself in my Superman costume, which is hanging on there as well. So before they come to my house and say, oh, it's a white person, they can see it's a brown guy who's waving all these flags. So if they want to come to me, they should come here prepared, because there is no way in hell there's anybody going to tell me to remove these flags from in a country that I love and I live and I call it home now. They're not going to tell me. They will not be. Nobody will be able to remove that flag. They're not going nowhere. The only time these flags gets removed when I leave the country. Before that, no way in hell. I'm not doing it. So yeah.
I think this, just like Lubna, this is an amazing story. A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have believed this story. If someone would have told me this in a pub about a friend of theirs, I wouldn't have believed it, just like I wouldn't have believed Lubna. But this country has fallen lower than I ever thought it would fall. But things are changing, as you can see. The pride's coming back to the UK, to England. People are sticking up for themselves, sticking up for the country, and things are changing. And I think over the next decade, things will get a lot better in this country. But do me a favour, when the police thing's over and you can talk about it, drop me a line, come back on, and let's get into the arrest and what went on there. I'd like to talk to you a bit more about that. But that's extremely interesting conversation. I hope people get a lot out of this. I've got a lot out of that. And it just goes to prove we've all got a part to play. We all need to be sticking up for what we know is right. Because if you don't stick up for what is right, that means you're a coward. And nobody wants to live their lives as a coward. And that's the message I've sort of lived my life by. I don't want to be a coward. Doesn't mean I'm brave. Doesn't mean I'm a superhero. It just means I'm not a coward, and I can live with that. Last 30 seconds, over to you.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, if people don't know, I hope people, well, if you don't know, let me tell you this now, that I am the one who have invented the White History Month as the month of June. I have registered it. I've got the certificates and everything. There's a whole post about it. And I was the one who was walking around in London with, I think, around 20 or 30 white people wearing the White History Month t-shirt. On the back, it says, celebrating white excellence. And underneath, it says, White Lives Matter. So yeah, if you don't know that, do check it out, and please support. That is something that you need to support. Just, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Nick. Thank you.
And any information or links you want to share, if you email them to me, I'll put them in the description of the video so people can just go in there, find out anything they want to find out. Thank you so much for coming on. That was a great conversation, and let's speak again soon.
Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you very much for having me. Take care. Bye.